I'm going to lead in at number 10 with 25-year-old Terry McLaurin from the Washington football team. He has caught 94 balls that have yielded a first down in a 2-year span. So if you do quick math, that is roughly 76% of his receptions equate to a first down. He's done all this with zero quarterback play in his first 2 years and no other true offensive weapon that you legitimately needed to worry about on opposite ends of the field. He plays very physical. He's very quick out of his breaks, runs incredible routes for someone who's only 2 years in the league, and he has deep speed. To me, he's just a rising star in this league. You get him a more competent offense, which I think he's going to start to see. I think you're going to see those stats climb. My number 9 wide receiver is 27-year-old Allen Robinson of the Chicago Bears. He's a big body, true possession wide receiver. He runs clean routes, makes big-time catches in crucial situations. 311 of his 457 receptions have gone for first downs.
That's insane right there.
That's crazy. This matters when you're a wide receiver. Like, are you moving the chains? He was only one of 4 receivers to catch over 100 passes in 2020. Only 2 receivers had more targets. Never once, not even in college, has Allen Robinson had a legitimate quarterback throwing him the ball. This man can ball, and he 100% deserves to be in this top 10 list. My 8th guy is Mike Evans from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What's not to like about Mike Evans? 6'5", 4'3", 40 type guy. 15.5 for his career per catch. That's a pretty significant number. I was not high on Mike Evans. I literally thought he was, I hate to use this term, but like a one-trick pony. I thought he was a 6'5", send him downfield. I'm going to throw a college gimmick is the way that that's what I literally thought he was going to be. He's become a possession receiver. He's clearly a third down threat, an absolute monster in the red zone. And we said earlier how this is not about fantasy football, but I have in a note here is why I always find a way to get Mike Evans on my fantasy roster, because he catches touchdowns, 13 of them last year. My number 7 guy, Stefon Diggs. I have a line about, hey, he was really good in Minnesota, but he's on the precipice of proving to be elite in Buffalo. So, like, we're using similar verbiage to even describe this guy. I have the highest praise for Stefon Diggs. He played the most snaps in the league last year at wide receiver. He led the league, as you mentioned, in receptions, in receiving yards, and yards per game in his first season in a COVID-ridden season with zero preparation opportunity to get acclimated to his new team. Like some of these guys that are going to come after Stefon Diggs, to me what's super important is his route running capability. It's just clean. Like, there's no false steps. There's every
wasted
route
movement
on the tree. Yeah, it's just really clean. And I mean, he's a fast guy, but when you can do all of those things, you're creating 3, 4, 5, 6 yards of separation and getting yourself available to your quarterback. My number 6, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first team All-Pro from the New Orleans Saints, 28-year-old Michael Thomas. Career, 510 receptions, 5,950 yards, 32 touchdowns, and averages 9.1 yards per target. He is a big body, strong receiver, but he's mainly known for the slant route, right? That's the knock on him. To me, he's proven he can run every route on the tree and run them well. This is a big-time year for him, coming off of injuries, no Drew Brees, but I personally think he is more than poised for this challenge, and I have no doubts he is worthy of being number 6 on my list. At number 5, where I have Keenan Allen. You know how big of a fan I am of Keenan Allen, and I think to be in a top 5 of any list in the NFL is singing an individual's praises. What I love about him, you know, when you target him, you talk about 68.3% completion percentage for his career. To me, he is the second best route runner in football, and possibly the most underrated player in the entire NFL. I don't think people realize how good of a football player he is. He does everything well for your team. He's certainly not the biggest, and he's certainly not the fastest wide receiver in the league, but he uses his body, his leverage, and route running ability, I think, better than anyone in the league. Like, Who is more reliable than Keenan Allen? He just continues to put up his numbers year over year. And to me, he actually seemingly gets more savvy the longer he's in this league. Like, he just picks up a new tool or a new trick or whatever year over year where his play doesn't decline. 27-year-old wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, Tyreek Hill. I'm just going to come out and say this because I have no other way to put this. I do not particularly care for this individual in any way, shape, or form at all. However, I'm not a dummy, and nobody can deny how talented he is. Career stats, 368 receptions, 5,300 yards, 47 touchdowns, 9.8 yards per target for his career. He is a 5-time Pro Bowler. He is a 3-time first-team All-Pro, although one of those was as a returner, was not as a wide receiver in his rookie year. He was ridiculous. To me, regardless of what the statistics say, he is still a gadget player and a one-trick pony outside the numbers. He is speed and mismatch, right? So to me, he's not the savviest of route runners. What he is possibly the most electric player in the league with the ball in his hands. There's nobody faster than him in this league, and he creates those matchup nightmares. You can put him in the slot all day. You put him in motion. You find him, towards a linebacker who's got to guide him to the safety, and then there's that gap, right? There's not a slot corner in the league or a nickel corner that can compete with this guy. And Andy Reid knows that. Listen, the kid is a stud. He's a stud. But when I'm building my team, I'm building my list, I look at this position, I'm just looking for a different skill set for my receivers than he provides. That's all. Okay. I mean, he's still in my top 5. Like, nobody's denying how talented he is. Me and Julio down by the school.
Good for you. I didn't think he was going to get much love from you.
Oh, no, please.
You do respect your elders.
Oh, my God, do I ever. 7-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time first-team All-Pro, the 99.5 yards a game over a 10-year career, mind you. I will die on this hill. He is arguably a top 5 wide receiver of all time.
100%
all time. You talked about the 95.5 yards per game. Translation, unstoppable. Like, there's no other way to translate what that means. He is literally straight out of the NFL genetics lab. The way he plays, the way he's built, the way he looks, just freak ability everywhere that translated, right? Like, not just like, hey, this is a super freak athlete. Like, it translated to the NFL game. I know he's aging, but he's on a new team with a new quarterback in a new conference, and this could be exactly what he needed at the most ideal time of his career. Don't let the age fool you. This man is still a dominant force in this league. My number 2 is also Devonta Adams. 18 touchdowns last year, which there's no argument that 2020 was a career year for Devonta Adams. Is Devonta only this good because of Aaron Rodgers? I would argue can't penalize the guy for who his quarterback is. You know Aaron's already saying I'm throwing to number 17. And that's what I love about this pairing, is who Mr. Reliability is for Aaron Rodgers. And it's number 17. It's Devonta Adams. And you still don't stop it. What I love about Devonta is, given he's not this massive human being, his production in the red zone. It's not just on those whip routes, which is the bread and butter, back shoulder throws, quick outs from the slot, all things where it's like, if you're inside the 5-yard line, your only focus literally should be, where's number 17? I have to feel good enough about my front that I can stop the run once in a while, and you still can't stop this man.
It's his release off the line of scrimmage.
It's so good. It's so good. He is, I have here underlined and bolded, he is a disciplined route runner. Like, he knows how to set you up. His route running ability begins before he even runs the route. His split alignments, things of that nature. He's already put the person, the defensive back, in the position that he wants him to be in based on the coverages that he sees, and he's just giving himself space and separation. That's all he's doing. He is Mr. Reliable. He is 7-Eleven, 24/7, always open, always available. That's why he's number 2 on my list. D-Hop, Nuck, DeAndre Hopkins, whatever you want to call him, 28-year-old wide receiver for the now Arizona Cardinals. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He is a 3-time first-team All-Pro. Lou, this man has only missed 2 games in 8 seasons. That is the poster child of health at the wide receiver position. Last year, he had 160 targets, tied for second in the league with 115 receptions, 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns in his first year in Arizona. New quarterback, traded late, mind you, and no preseason, right, to adapt. For his career, he's got 747 receptions, 10,000 yards, 60 touchdowns, averaging just under 80 a game, 8.3 yards per target, 61% reception rate. What always stood out to me is that there's actually nothing flashy about him whatsoever. He's got a big old head clunking around out there, a massive helmet. It almost looks disproportionate. Like, what I'm saying is he doesn't look like that uber athletic skill position that you're thinking about. What is flashy is his huge catch radius, the ridiculousness in the terms of the size of his hands, and how he makes some of these unbelievable catches. He's not super big. He's not super fast. He is the best route runner in football. He is, when you draw it up, by definition, that number one possession wide receiver. He goes up for the ball better than any receiver in this league. He uses long arms, large hands, body position. He just makes absurd catches down the field. He's had 532 receptions that have resulted in a first down. 75 of those in 2020 alone. Yep. And here's what I love the most. Going into 2020, he was ranked number 8 overall in the NFL's top 100 players list that is voted on by so many different people, most importantly, their peers. As a wide receiver, voted number 8 out of the top 100. And he put up a monster 2020 season in the desert. So, Lou, I can keep going. But I would make the argument that D-Hop is number 1, number 2, and number 3 in this league from a wide receiver standpoint.